Hello, hello. It is Play-Doh time. And I want to talk a bit about the Soviet Union. I grew up in Germany in the western part, and my great grandmother was living in the eastern part, and my mother and I visited her once in a while. And I have only good memories of visiting my great grandmother. And she was a very sweet woman, very sweet and kind and loving and very gentle. And she had this really large, I don't know, four-story house that had been built in the 1700s. A very, very old building. And it's one of the very rare old city buildings with four stories that had been built such a long time ago, and I'm amazed they even were able to build four-story buildings at that time. And the entrance door had this majestic look, and a real antique door, real heavy, thick wooden door, not hollow on the inside, like a, like a completely like made out of one piece of wood or something. That's what it looked like, and from a very large tree. I don't recommend to do this anymore today because they have been logging too many trees. But around 1700s, the 1700s, they didn't have a logging problem yet. So they made the most amazing doors, and it had a knocker on the door. This is very strange, some kind of bell knocker, and that was made out of also solid brass, and it had a lion head, like a real large thing, like was this on the door. And above the door was also a lion head. It looked like some kind of emblem, some kind of um, it had some kind of meaning. It was representative for something, some kind of district or some, I don't know. I don't even know how they got to get this house. So a very, very, very valuable house. My family ended up selling it in, sold it about 15 years ago or something. And so, but it was always nice. And so the Soviet Union, when they took over, they made my great grandmother, take in random people into this house and let them live there for free. And this was the communism, that was the socialism that made her do it, forced her to take strangers into her house and let them live there. People that were not able to work, or that fell through, and whether they were dependent on the government, and so they were given these apartments. And I remember visiting with these people, visiting every one of those apartments and playing with their children and playing in the garden. She had apple trees in the garden, and there was a slope and a grass, like a grass lawn with very short apple trees on it, growing on that slope. And she had a Hollywood swing, just like my other grandmother. And so it was nice, but one should not be forced to take random people into the house. That should never happen. So that should tell us something. We don't want that to happen ever again. There are a lot of bad things that come out of socialization projects that can be very bad. So when you have a house, that's your temple. You don't want to be invaded. You don't want to have the government force other people into your house. So I think everyone would agree with me. Everyone even those people that don't have a house, if they had a house, hell no, they would never allow someone else to move in there. Yeah. Including those people that right now rant and rave against anyone who has a house and who, you know, or they think they are privileged or whatever. Someone who has a big house, they rant and rave against those, and they would like the government to enforce something like this. But at the same time, those very same people talk against the Soviet Union, and so almost everyone talks against it. And there's so much anti-information out there in the world that people don't know anything about anything really. And there's so much double standard in the world that it just becomes crazy, everything, and hypocritical and convoluted. And so I make these videos to inform people, to give some fact checks on things, and to share what I have experienced myself and what I have witnessed and the conclusions that I draw from A to B, so that maybe we can think about these things a little bit better and also think about who we vote for, and not to vote for those type of governmental forced programs, where someone has to be given a head start of some sort just because. And I find these things extremely racist also, and sexist. There's no need for this. We don't need something like this in the world, to put someone down and say, hey, you are so stupid, you can't think for yourself, we better give you a house. You can't make it, so we need to give you. That's really, really, really unbeneficial to the very people that benefit from that. And it's also an insult against those people. So as a woman, I don't want to get affirmative action just because I'm a woman. I don't want to be given a place at the university just because of that. And even if my grades are bad, I get these or those or whatever benefits, because they think they need to help me out or something. I don't want that. No, I don't want that. I want to, if I was to go to, if I was to study whatever, again, which I'm not going to, I don't feel like it. Too much trouble. I'm a dogma, no. So, but if I was to go back to pursue any kind of study program and scientific project or something, I want to get that done on my own intelligence and hard work. I don't want to get something like this done just, or be part of something just because of an affirmative action program. So okay, so that is socialism. And during the Soviet Union, during the era of communism, people were actually forced into large houses, and just here, take them in. And they weren't allowed to do anything against it or stand up for themselves. My great grandmother had to put up with this. But she was lucky. The people that were forced into her house were all mellow and sweet and decent people. So, but can you imagine now taking this a notch further and have psychopaths forced into your house. You wouldn't even want to exist anymore in that situation. I wouldn't. So, you know, let's make sure we vote for the right people. So that's all I can say. Vote for Donald Trump if you don't want that to happen. So that's all I can say to that situation. I'm very concerned about this. I'm very worried about this. I'm very worried about the future. I already see what's happening. I see my husband keeps telling me the news, which I don't want to hear because it makes me want to just cry all day long when I hear this. Like that one lady that is running for an office in Minnesota and for running for governor of Minnesota, and she's running against a Muslim, and apparently entire Minnesota has now been taken over. It has turned sour, like Sweden. It has turned Muslim agenda. Okay, and so they gave her such an enormously hard time. They framed her and slandered her and a complete made up lie about stuff in order to make the public turn against her. How horrific. How horrific is that? I just hope that the people are not going to fall for that. I hope that they vote for her. How horrific all of this. Then I heard that in New York they even have Sharia police officers now. They let Sharia police officers with their own vehicles patrol the area. How far is this gonna come now? How far? So that's what I'm worried about. I'm worried about an invasion and a takeover by the Muslim agenda. That's what I really am worried about. And if you read the news, read it for yourself. Don't just take my word for it. Read these things. Read about it. Don't only lean back and say, oh, the politicians, they already know what they're doing. Let me watch my video game or do my whatever pleasure things, reality TV show, with the little, the enticements in it and the personal pleasuring, and let them do that hard work of politics. Okay, if you don't have a plan, someone else will have one for you, but it may not be the plan you wish for. Okay, so that's why I'm saying every single person is responsible to get out there and get involved. The least you can do is read the news. It's the least you can do. And get informed about what's happening. Participate in this. Get informed in what kind of negative political decisions are being made, and who is being slandered, and why. And think a little bit between the lines. Look for the answers. Don't just take the very first slander and accept that hook, line, and sinker. Why is he writing like this? What is actually happening? Why are they framing this person? Is there an agenda behind it? Look into it. It's very frustrating for me to see this complacency in people and this worshipping. When I see worshipping, it really, really goes against the grain. worshipping of any sort, or whether it is religious or famous people worshipping, or worshipping their any someone they like sexually, or this worshipping has to go. Okay, stop worshipping people. Okay, just because they are famous, or they have something to say, or are powerful, or whatever, stop worshipping people. When someone has something decent to say, then go, oh, good, someone has something decent to say, but don't worship that person. And then go out and do your own legwork, your own mental legwork, and your own research, and find out whether that's true. Okay, and then you hear some other people's views on it, some other opinions on things. Same with going to the physician. If you have something, you go to 5 physicians. That's what Tony Robbins did. It saved his life to go to 5 different physicians. I think the last one he went to is Deepak Chopra, and he said, don't have surgery done. He's a holistic physician. Thank goodness, he's helping, making the world a better place. So, don't just worship someone or accept someone as an authority figure just because they have studied this, or because they are of this institution or that religion. That doesn't mean anything. If everyone started to look over the other person's shoulder, if you go to a car mechanic and you look over the person's shoulder, that's, first of all, they don't want you to do this because they would like to cheat you. But that's what you have to do. And even though they may not like you anymore, then if you look over their shoulder, they go, but you don't trust me? And you say, hell no, I don't. Okay, and you just laugh it off. So, and you keep looking over their shoulder and saying, yes, no, I really mean it, I'm really serious, I don't trust you. So I'm looking over my shoulder. What are you doing there? What are you doing with those screws? Are you tightening the oil cap too tight because you don't want to go and wash your oily hands first? An oil cap should not be over tightened. It should be tightened by non-oily hands. Tight enough, but not over tightened. Right? So my husband goes to a car mechanic promptly, even though it was under warranty. That's the oil change. The guy over tightened it. He used some kind of crescent wrench for it because he didn't want to go wash his hands and then tighten it with his hands. So it's these kind of things. This is just one example out of gazillions of examples. My husband had his fair share of those kind of disappointments. And I'm tired of it. I'm tired of hearing about these crooks out there. I'm really tired of it. No, we can't. Why should a politician be less crooked? It's the same as the car mechanic, but has wider reaching consequences. So that's why I'm saying, you gotta look over people's shoulders. And it doesn't matter who that is, whether it could be your wife or family member. What? You don't trust me? Hell no, I don't. Okay. So, yeah. And I'm going to buy myself a body camera. I already saw a real great one that has a loop on the top. So I can hang that around my neck, have like a third eye here. So I go shopping and they go, what is that? It's a body camera. What? You don't trust us here? Hell no! So yeah, that's what I'm gonna do for the rest of my life now. It's just gonna get worse with those kind of things. So thank goodness for the advancing technology. Yes. So it will be, as they call it, tit for tat, right? Titty for tatty. If you talk to Hannibal Lecter. Quid pro quo. So, what I do, it will be counterbalanced. What you do will be counterbalanced by me. So, and that's what's happening, you know. Shit is happening. Islam is moving in, is starting to take over things. And at the same time, oops, they didn't think about this. Their technology is moving in too. Okay. If they move in, the cameras will too. Okay. And so it's kind of like a push and shove with cameras, technology versus Islam, and it will push its way forward. Not just Islam, you know, there are other psychopaths out there, psychopath in general, but Islam has a psychopathic agenda. Okay, so that's definitely the case. And not all of them are psychopaths, but the other ones are all enablers. So, the enabler of a psychopath is also bad. Just wanted to throw that in for some fact checks. If a child is being raped and the mother is an enabler, that makes her equally guilty. You know, according to what Albert Einstein says, if you witness a crime and you look the other way deliberately, you are equally guilty of this. Albert Einstein has seen Nazi Germany firsthand. Okay, seen the atrocities. He's seen the people that look the other way. So he speaks from experience. Enablers made Nazi Germany happen. Do we want this again? In a different color? No, we don't. Okay, I don't want any kind of dictatorship and psychopathic agenda to happen. It doesn't matter what skin color they are or what particular in detail beliefs they have. It doesn't matter. It's all the same thing. It's the same principle. We don't need this anymore. I see this happening. It's gradually getting worse, you know, with the Islamic agenda invading countries and communities and ruining the peace and the peaceful lifestyle that these people used to have. They're invading the Midwest. They're invading Sweden, Germany, and other European countries, and Michigan and Minnesota, and I don't know what else. Other places that used to be peaceful. Yeah, I don't support that. Sorry. And people support this. People enable this because they put their personal popularity, their social acceptance over the safety of our communities. And this is the fact. And that's why this is happening. And you are no better, you enablers out there, you are no better than the enablers of Nazi Germany. Okay, this is a fact. Okay. Let that sink in. It's not because I'm mega right wing or racist or this or this or that. I'm neither one. Okay. I'm not racist, I'm not right wing. I'm also not liberal. Okay. Because I don't adhere to any kind of platform that is limiting things. Okay. It's limited. Any kind of thought platform is limited. It may have something good to offer here, but something bad on the other end. So no, I'm not going to take the bad with the good. Okay. I think for myself. I like Elizabeth Warren. I like Andrew Yang, but I I don't know if they're strong enough. I don't know these people very well. They sound good. They seem very nice. That environmental guy, I forgot the name. They seem nice and everything. But even if they are strong, even if they don't let someone take their microphone out of their hands, as Bernie Sanders did, let people snatch the microphone out of his hands, what a pushover situation that is. Even if they don't do this, they may be stronger in this way, right? But they stand on a pushover platform. They stand on a platform that they also are expected to adhere to, just like Donald Trump is expected to adhere to the other ridiculous platform. Both platforms are almost completely wrong, They're at least very lopsided, where they take the good with the bad. That's not good at all. You need to stand completely on your own. I understand with US politics, you, as an independent, you're probably not going to get elected because they are party adherer. That's what they are, because they're religious. They have religious mind states. Like my husband's dad always voted Republican. It wouldn't matter. It wouldn't matter if it's a psychopathic criminal. It's a Republican, right? So he votes. There's no thinking involved, right? No thinking at all. And his mother always voted Democrat. It wouldn't matter if that's a psychopathic maniac. No, it's a Democrat, so she votes for it. That's not going to go anywhere with that kind of party adherence, religious adherence. So they make politics into religion. That's what these people are doing. That's not free thinking. That doesn't make the world a better place. I'm not accusing them of being bad people. They just don't put their mind into it. They never question anything. But then they become enablers and they become guilty when things go wrong. They do. They absolutely do. They can later on say, for example, during the Soviet Union, there were sharpshooters, at the border. And these sharpshooters, they shot a couple of people that tried to flee over the border. They shot them. Yeah. Later being confronted on a tribunal, they said, why are you so mean to me? I only followed orders. No? It's the same with the US military. It's exactly the same. Julian Assange, I've watched the documentary film, pretty shocking. That Chelsea Manning used to be in the US military. And Chelsea Manning is a man, is a transsexual, switching to woman. So I saw the documentary. So I saw the footage also of Chelsea Manning when he was in the US military, still identified as a man, of course, because he is a man. Short and petite and kind of girly guy, and he shouldn't have the sex change operation. That's a different story altogether. I'm against it. He should love himself for who he is. But that's definitely an angel soul, Chelsea Manning. So also, with a female brain, male body, he has a male body, but he has quite a female brain. Okay? And when they have quite a female brain structure, then they don't identify with their bodies, of course, but they should still accept it. But that's a different story. But anyway, he was in the military, And he, because he's very intelligent, you know, he was employed to supervise intelligence officials and monitor the situation also. You know, he got to see video footage of certain things, including those sniper operations and all of this. And he got to see video footage of US military people just going in there executing people just like they're on the spot. And people that didn't even have weapons in their hands. They went there and they just executed them there on a parking lot. And so he had access to that video footage, and he I don't know whether he complained to or he talked to people, but he probably was just met with indifference. Why are you accusing? You should be working on our side, and so on. So he didn't know who to go to with this. You know, he didn't like what he was seeing. You know, he has mother instinct in him. You know, and he cares. You know, when you care, you see crime, and if you care, you're not even going to think twice about this, whether, oh, if I don't say, I make myself guilty. No, if you care, you don't think about any of this, whether, you know, oh, how they're going to look at me if I don't say it, or how they're going to look at me if I say it, or what. There's no such thing happening when you have a caring brain like Chelsea Manning, and you see a crime happening. You know, this is a crime that should not be happening, not even in the military. Okay, you see a crime happen like this, you cannot be looking the other way. You just can't look the other way. So someone who looks the other way is equally guilty, and they also don't have a compassion center in their brain. You know, right there. That's a criminal, someone who looks the other way deliberately, who puts his status or his popularity or his future career, they're thinking down the line, they don't want to lose the military position, and they don't want to lose all of these, you know, the free university or whatever, you know. So they put all of this above ethics. Not Chelsea Manning, because he has a compassion center. He has large amygdala in his brain. And that's not only because the brain is female. There are men can also have a large compassion center in the brain. This has nothing to do with the gender. Okay? So, but, you know, in his case, he also has much more of a mother instinct because of this. Okay, and also, you know, because of his own struggle, his own inner struggle, and his own, you know, the problems, you know, with society being so cold to people who are gay and transsexuals or transvestites. And so he knows what it means already, you know, to suffer and all of this, you know, because of this, the fascist human brains around him. So, so, but he has large compassion center in the brain. He sees injustice happen, and it it makes him feel like there's no way he can continue to support what he's doing there. He cannot be part of this anymore. The moment you realize this is wrong, you are instantly out. You know, you are energetically and mentally out of it, out of that cold-hearted institution or religion or whatever it is. So, and this realization comes with a large compassion ability. So this is an angel soul. Very, very clear. So he didn't know where to go to with this. You know, he tried to, he called large newspapers and news reporter companies. You know, they gave him this a silent treatment. They don't. None of them wants to get involved in it. How coward! They are all enablers. All of these people. Everyone who gives someone a silent treatment, who ignores someone, who ignores an emergency situation like this, they are all enablers of psychopathic things. Okay. So, and they are all equally guilty of the world getting worse. If you enable something that goes badly wrong, a bad crime, yeah, a situation that is turning really bad, you know, and you know that by saying something you could help, there's a potentiality that it could help, or at least we need to try, right? So if you deliberately look the other way, you are equally guilty of the world becoming worse. And I see this in the vast majority of humans. If you don't want this, if you don't want to be accused of this, then do better. But don't do better just because you don't want to be accused of it. Do better to make the world better. Okay? We're all part of this. We're all part of this. The military, even if those are potentially psychopaths on that parking lot there, or they're part of the Muslim agenda, many of them I think were very young even. So, but they don't have a weapon. The U.S. military that is completely unethical. It goes completely against civil rights worldwide. That's a breach of international ethics. Okay, it's a war crime. That's what that is. So Chelsea Manning, finally, when no one was willing to help him with this, he finally found WikiLeaks and Julian Assange. Okay, so he got to talk to Julian about this. They talked through email. And that's how this whole thing with the military was being publicized. But instead of saying, oh, we messed up, you know, the military, no. They blame Chelsea Manning. They blame Julian Assange. They blame the accuser instead of taking the responsibility for it and owning it and saying, yeah, something is badly wrong there. We need to fix this. So, just a side note for this. And in the same way, you know, the the border wall shooters in the Soviet Union, you know, and in I need you to empty the washing machine. I'm making a video right now. In 10 minutes, I will do it. Okay. I'm gonna take your clothes out. No. Please, I'm making a video right now. Wait until I'm done with the video. Okay. Wait, until I'm done with the video. You can wait for 10 minutes. Yeah, I can't edit my videos, so a little reality show piece of this situation, interactive situation, when one person does not respect someone else's boundaries, and the other person gets pissed. Yes, that's how it works. So I should not have to stop the video right now while I'm in the flow of talking about injustice just because someone doesn't respect my boundaries. I don't obey orders from anyone. It doesn't matter whether it's my husband or anyone. And neither should you. Nobody should have to obey an order from someone else. Nobody has the right to order someone else around with anything. We have the right to live our lives in the way we want to, in the way we think works the best. So anyway, the people at the border, in Soviet Germany, shooting people from the eastern part of Germany, trying to get into the western part of Germany, like for example out there in Berlin and in other places, Dresden and other places. So where someone tried to escape. Those people they didn't own up to it. They didn't say that. They didn't even see it. They're so disconnected. They can only see, I was hired by them and I was only following orders. I was only doing what I was told to do. So the Nazis did the same thing, when Nazi Germany came down, went on a tribunal. They told the military people from the United States, I only followed orders. The ones on the top, the think tanker people, they fled to South America. They fled to Peru and Ecuador, to those places, to get far away from being executed for their international war crimes that they have committed. So most people will not admit to doing something wrong, also out of fear, of course, but most people don't do it. They don't want to do it also out of fear of social repercussions, and if they admit something, then they will be shunned. But they also don't admit it because they're so disconnected. They don't even see that they did anything wrong. So it takes a lot of introspection to come to this point where you see, yeah, this was wrong how I behaved in this or that situation. So all of this food for thought, I think this is very important that we get into it, that we don't repeat history over and over and over again. But there's one thing I want to say about the Soviet Union that was good. And while on one hand, no dictatorship is going to work. You never force the word. You can never do anything with force. It has to be done through a real thorough understanding of things. Otherwise, it's not going to be done well. It's not going to work. It's going to collapse. So it has to come from an inner understanding and a commitment to making the world better from every single individual involved in this world. Okay, you are not just, most people act like they're just perpetual children or pets. No, you have a brain, use it and take it doesn't feel comfortable, to take responsibility for things, but I urge you to do it. Take responsibility, read things, get into discussions, at least talk to people about this, get involved, make political decisions on, signing petitions, writing petition letters, to legislators. This is political work. Get involved in it. Everyone can do it. Everyone. You can do this for the whole world. It is beyond country. Okay, it's beyond flags. This is our earth. Let's make it better. That's my wish. But there were also good things, just like as in the Democratic Party, there are some good things in it, but there are too many bad things in it. And also in the Republican Party, there are some good things in it that I support, and then other things that are not working. So the same with the Soviet Union. You can't just throw it all away and say, oh, this was complete terrible. No, it had its plus. The people that grew up in the Soviet Union, they are all super intelligent. Okay, so because they had education, and education, believe it or not, if you have they all had almost all of them had a higher education. They almost all of them went to university and have a master's degree in something. That has an effect on our DNA. It shapes our DNA, okay? Believe it or not, Dr. Bruce Lipton talks about it. Read his books. It's fantastic, fantastic scientific discoveries that they have made on epigenetics. So it is not like Lamarck, but we do have some influence on our DNA. Absolutely. If you read a lot of books, if you use your brain, if you widen your horizon, you enlarge your brain. You make yourself much smarter. Your IQ is not set in concrete. It can grow, okay? So, and when your IQ grows so well, the representative alleles for IQ also grow in the DNA itself. This is the most amazing thing. So there's plus and minus. Let's not take the plus with the minus. Let's take only the plus. That is my message to the world. Take care. Bye-bye.